With only a few weeks left until Election Day, President Obama and his liberal allies are running scared. It's becoming painfully obvious to them that nothing they do or say can stop the public's desire to send them packing and restore the American tradition of limited government and freedom. They know that this election will be an argument over the very nature of America's future. And they also know that they don't have any good arguments left to make. Despite nearly $1 trillion in stimulus spending, unemployment is through the roof. Obamacare has angered the electorate, swollen our national debt, raised insurance premiums, and threatened to rob millions of their health care coverage. Congress has failed to prevent massive tax increases and wasn't even able to pass a budget at a time of record deficits. We have a strategy for defeat in Afghanistan and a counterterrorism policy that primarily consists of securing legal rights for Islamic extremists. On every front, our so-called leaders have failed to effectively govern the country. Rather than presenting a vision for America's future, however, the liberals in Washington have taken to pointing fingers at their opponents. Now, in their desperation, they're stooping to outright lies. Last week, President Obama claimed that conservative advocacy groups were breaking the law by funneling foreign money into this year's campaigns. An ad by the DNC even went one step further, claiming that these groups were stealing our democracy. In reality, these accusations are false. And in fact, the paranoia they reveal says much more about liberals than it does about conservatives. Ever since the Supreme Court ruled last year that outside groups can produce campaign ads because of their constitutional right to free speech, the left has warned that moneyed interests are now going to dominate American politics. If liberals had their way, Democrats' chances at re-election would be more important than the freedoms guaranteed to us by the Founding Fathers. Are these outside groups really buying elections? Of course not. Whether they're liberal or conservative, all their money buys them is a chance to air their ads expressing their political views. The left thinks that's dangerous. We think Americans are smart enough to judge those commercials for themselves. It turns out that's one more thing we don't have in common with liberals. That's this week's Freedom Minute.
What if Congress tackled the budget crisis 15 years ago?
The joint resolution is not passed.
Just one vote short in 1995 and again in 1997. Since then, America's debt has climbed to a staggering $13 trillion. Before America becomes another Greece, it's time that we, the people, force the politicians in Washington to balance the budget without raising our taxes. We can't afford to wait another 15 years. Visit onemorevote.org.